Right. You heard him before. For those of you who were here this morning, I don't need to introduce him because he's a big man in all sorts of ways. So please give a big round of applause for the founder of Espressolab, one of our organizers, Leong. I can't do it. Go on, do it yourself.
Thank you for staying back. I'm the last speaker and being the organizer. I should start myself earlier tomorrow. I don't know about you guys. Suddenly, I became the stupidest person in the room. I felt I learned a lot of things. A lot of ideas came up. I hope you guys feel the same. If you do, I will consider AC as a success. Can we give a big round of applause to the speakers and to you guys for coming? In July of 2014, Espressolab started an initiative called Number 11. I wrote a manifesto, not too long, that basically looks at the industry that's growing so fast that some of the topics that some of the speakers have touched about. What happens when specialty coffee no longer becomes special? What happens if you put in 400,000 ringgit into your cafe and somebody else with a 20 million war chest open next to you with a 3,000 square foot space? What happens if you own a 5-kilo roaster and another roaster comes in with a state-of-the-art Leong roaster that can do 120 kilos per cycle? Basically, today I'm going to talk about the retail strategy and some of the things that we deploy at Espressolab. But firstly, what keeps me up at 4 a.m.? I think these are some of the stuff that keeps some of you up as well. Customer complaints, rising costs, short-term lease, not enough space. Basically, if you understand, if you run a cafe, the cafe is a very hard model to scale. You may have full house today, but how do you double your sales tomorrow? You can't. You have run out of space. You can cycle your offerings by dropping your service from 4 minutes to 2 minutes, but it's still a limit to that. How do you control a supply chain? How do you get all your coffees in, ensure quality? How do you ensure your staff stay with you day in, day out, 12 hours a day? So I've drawn out 3 simple steps that we as cafe operators in the retail environment need to look at. From the basics, starting from my right, to the intermediate, to the advanced. If you fail to do any of these 3 steps, you're looking at failure. Product is king, right? You need to have a good, scalable product that is consistent, that is of good value. 5 years ago, I was happy to be able to get a good cup of freshly roasted Colombia Supremo. Today, I can get a 95-point Panama Geisha. The product is done. Okay, we have enough roasters in here, we have enough green bean suppliers, we have enough trainers to ensure a good product out to the market. Can your product scale? If a customer comes in and orders a cup of coffee, you deliver it in 2 minutes. If the guy comes in and says, my boss wants to order 20 cups, are you going to multiply that by 20 and ask him to wait for 30 minutes? Or if a supplier says, I need 100 kilos today, but I want to export next month for a container of 1,000 tons. That's opportunity. Can you meet that? Service. If you don't smile at me, I hate you. I'll put you on Instagram. And I'll put you on Facebook. And value. You put yourself up saying you provide the best service in town, but you never say thank you to me. Ease of use. If you say you have a good cafe, great baristas, I don't understand the heck of what you're telling me about Finca something halfway around the world. And is this experience good enough? I come in today, you say hello to me. I come in tomorrow, you give me a sour face. I come in the next day, you treat me like a friend again. And the attitude, do you treat me like a friend? Or do you treat me like a customer even though I come in, day out, ordering the same thing? Quality, a lot of baristas, a lot of roasters are looking at quality. That's given. If you're serving me a crappy cup of coffee, don't bother. Okay, and if you're telling me you're serving specialty great coffee, 80 plus, it tastes like sour lemon juice. It's no value to me. A lot of people are talking about small ideas, great design, slogans, training, concepts. You can spend $1 million into the design, doesn't matter. Anybody can spend the kind of money. The third place, everybody's trying to emulate Starbucks. They won the game. Every mall that opens up in Malaysia, the first person they look to is Starbucks, followed by coffee bean, okay? If they ever come to you and offer you a space, it's probably in one corner somewhere. Third wave, it's a movement. It's a great movement. People have tattoos, caring about quality, using state-of-the-art equipment. Very simple stuff to do. Okay? Moving on from the basics, you go into retail strategy, how to increase your profit. First thing is you upsell. Do you want an extra shot? Do you want a higher grade coffee? Maybe add $2 to it. And the presentation, maybe you put a cherry on top of your coffee, sell for an extra 50 cents. Cross-sell, would you want a cookie with it, a croissant with it? Would you like two different, maybe I'll sell you a package, a 2+1, one espresso and one cappuccino. Instead of $20, I sell it at 15, plus something else. And our solution, if you come in for a coffee, would you like a cup of, a piece of cake or a small meal? Another retail strategy, people using loyalty cards, mailing lists, vouchers to repeat their sales. Average repeat customers to Starbucks is 18 per month. The customers go back to the same store 18 times a month, right? Those are kind of things that you need to run to ensure loyalty. Branding, some of the brand gurus here will tell you. Usage of logo, association, the coverage, the color. Social media, Jolene. Labels, do you use Fair Trade Coffee, Rainforest Alliance? Are you certified with SCAA or SCAE? Do you win awards with your roasting bean? Okay. And retail financial management, we're talking about pricing. Do you price of coffee above what the market wants? Promotions, costs, opportunities. These are the kind of things you need to think about, right? Not just the best coffee or the equipment. You can buy a Synesto, you can buy a Slayer. But these are the stuff you need to think about when you run a cafe. Moving on to the more advanced section. When I talk about humanity is we need to start talking with a human voice. You don't have to blast and shout that we serve the best coffee anymore. Nobody believes you, right? Talk to them in a human voice. We serve good coffee, we give you a good experience, and we know you by name. Community. How do you get a group of people that are not talking about coffee to come to a coffee house? Nature, the nature of our business. Yeah, we are a cafe, but we need to be doing something else with the space. We need to share stories because that's what's tie all of us humans together. I will give you 3 examples right now of what we did. Number 11 was open only for 2 months, but we have gathered a lot of attention. We started talking to our customers as friends. Okay? We do not censor any comments there. We know them by name and they keep coming back. And these are great friends who tell us when our coffee fails. So I do not have to send people out there to check on my quality. My friends, my customers do that for me. Last month, I had about 90 people who are Land Rover lovers coming to number 11. 55 of them were from Thailand. They drove overnight to come to this place to celebrate a Land Rover festival. There were people from Philippines who took a flight all the way in, people from Singapore who drove 5 hours up. These people are not coming for coffee, but I'm able to generate business through a community of Land Rover lovers that have nothing to do with coffee, although most of them love coffee. Right? So as a business owner, you need to start thinking, I have a coffee house. I need to sell beyond coffee, beyond service, beyond food. How do I reach out to this community and bring them into my space? We have done private dining. We have done book reading. We have done birthday parties. You cannot expect to open a cafe and expect business to come in today because the next guy will run faster and he'll be staying up longer. You can spend $80,000 on this machine. This is a San Remo Opera. Okay, I can tell you a lot about the technology, but what drove me to buy this machine wasn't the technology. It's about the guy, second generation espresso maker by the name of Carlo, who worked very closely with his counterpart, Paolo, and baristas, professional baristas across the world to develop this equipment. So what I'm trying to do is I'm telling you the story of why this equipment came about. Okay, this is the machine designed by baristas for baristas. And if you understand the story, you read the story of how it came about in 2 years, that's a beautiful, beautiful equipment. Okay? Out of the 3 things you need to think about. The basics is very tangible. Okay, the product is very tangible. You sell a cup of coffee for $10. Can you sell a second cup for the same price? Will the customer order a second cup of coffee? Usually they say, no, I'm over caffeinated. They're easily replicable. Anybody with money can buy a better product, offer a better service, okay, or buy higher quality equipment or coffee. The middle section, the intermediate section, requires a lot of training, a lot of expertise. That's why you get brand managers, social managers, designers. And if you're a small cafe owner, I understand that's going to be very, very difficult. So we ask a lot for favors. But when you come to the big ideas, those are, I think, some of the stuff that Jolene talked about and the other community like the Blade Cafe. It's very niche, it's very focused. These are all customer driven. I love Land Rover. You don't have to tell me to love it. Okay, but if you give me a platform where I can share my love, I will be there. I have another friend who's a Star Wars geek. All right, you don't have to say anything. You just say there's a gathering there, people will come already. Okay, and as you move from the left to the right, your value propositions grow up. It goes up, right? And these are scalable. Easily, you don't have to advertise and try and attract customers one by one. You get a group of 20 coming in. Okay? So that's it for me. A bit of my ideas about retail strategy today. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Huyen. And thank you very much for all of you for attending the ACS. For those of you who've missed out on some of the talks, we'll be here again tomorrow with more talks and more coffee, but not Irish. I'll be here, and thank you very much once again. Of course, you're welcome to talk to the...
I love tea. I love the jabber jive and it loves me.